This year marks a quarter of a century since a Democrat has held statewide office in Texas, and the list of candidates hoping to change that just got a little bit longer. A longtime Texas State Senator Royce West just announced his bid to unseat Senator John Cornyn. He enters an already crowded primary field that now includes at least 3 other candidates hoping to pull off the Democratic dream. It's a dream that Beto O'Rourke came close to grabbing but failed to deliver back in 2018 despite a near record amount of campaign cash and really unprecedented national attention. Royce West joins me now. State Senator West, just in terms of historical context, Texas really hasn't gone blue since the late Ann Richards governed the state, and that was 25 years ago. So how can you and how can Democrats build a winning coalition there? What will be different?
Well, Morgan, thank you very much. What will be different is this. When you begin to look at Beto O'Rourke's election, it was not a political aberration. It's part of a trend. And you correctly said that was historic turnouts during a midterm election. So you can imagine what it's going to be during the general election. And we believe that there will be Democrats, independents, and also Republicans that will begin to look at the Democratic ticket and look for someone that's moderate to left that they can support. And I'm that person.
And when you say you're that person, you know, we just saw this happen with Beto O'Rourke when he raised more outside campaign cash than any Senate race in U.S. history, when that was when he was challenging
Correct.
Ted Cruz. So if he raised $80 million but still fell 3 points shy of a win, what makes you think this year in this race you can be different?
I think it's a synergistic effect, when we get the political synergistic effect. What that basically means is there'll be Democrats for the first time in a long time running for a lot of statewide offices this time around. And then obviously we're going to have a very contentious presidential election that will, needless to say, bring people out that don't normally turn out in midterm elections.
It's interesting because, you know, before you can face Senator Cornyn, you've also got to face what you just called a contentious field, but also you have your own crowded field of Democratic challengers who are
That's
really,
exactly right.
Right. I mean, they're well-known names there in Texas. We have a list of them here on the screen. Are you at all worried that those people on the screen right now could hurt your party's chances of really taking back the seat?
Well, it kind of depends. I don't really understand your question. This is what I will say is that we have some fine individuals that are running for the nomination, the Democratic nomination. And what I'm saying is that out of 12 Democratic senators in the state Senate, 11 of them are supporting me, and out of 67 House members, 47 are supporting me. And so I have a broad cross state support. Black, Hispanic, African American, you name it, and we're going to try to use that particular infrastructure in order to get my message out and hopefully become the nominee for the Democratic Party.
You talk about your wide base of support, especially across racial and ethnic lines. I want to get your thoughts on something we just heard President Trump say momentarily ago when he was speaking to a group of teens. He kind of doubled down on these attacks against the so-called SWAT. And I'm sure you're familiar with the controversy surrounding those go-back remarks. Senator Cornyn, though, he waited 36 hours to respond to that. And then when he did, he called the remarks a mistake and an unforced error, later telling Politico that he didn't think the president was racist. What do you think of that response? And will Cornyn's response have any impact on those Texas voters?
Maury, this is what I'll say. You know, I can't sit here and just kind of debate what Trump has done or has not done. I know that part of what I see he has done thus far is that he is, frankly, as I guess it's a media term, weaponized race as a part of what he's been doing from Charlottesville all the way through. And then I think he's been preoccupied with trying to do away with everything that President Barack Obama has done for this particular country. And that's what he's been preoccupied with. And so my deal is that I'll be focusing on health care, I'll be focusing on criminal justice reform, and a whole litany of other issues, women's rights issues that have been kind of in the bullseye of this president. And so those are the things that I'm going to be doing as opposed to worried about what President Trump is doing.
All right. Texas State Senator Royce West, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And